Okay, folks, so we're going to go over a very basic concept. We're doing subatomic particles here, and there is a lot more detail than this involved, but we don't care. All right. If you're doing a chemistry class, a physics class, you might need to know a lot more about quarks and hadrons and leptons and things like that. That's not what we need for this. For biology, for anatomy, we're going to do fine with the proton, the neutron, and the electron. So what you see here is a model of carbon. Hey, we're in biology, of course we're going to use carbon. And what you see around in the middle, you have the nucleus. And this nucleus has protons. In this drawing, they're in red. And neutrons, they are in yellow. And then whizzing around the outside, you have electrons, which they made blue in this drawing. Now, the protons are positively charged, the neutrons are neutral with no charge, and the electrons are negatively charged. So also notice the difference in size, how the protons and neutrons are really big. Those are ones that we count when we're counting up the mass of an atom. And the electrons, which are whizzing around the outside, they are so small that we pretend they don't have any mass. They actually do have a little bit, but we don't have to worry about it. Okay, so we've got three subatomic particles that we're worrying about here, and each one controls a different thing. The protons, the number of protons controls what something is. So if an atom has 6 protons, it has atomic number 6, and that means it is carbon. Everything that has 6 protons is carbon. Every carbon has 6 protons. Great. The electrons control the charge. The number of electrons can change because the electrons are negatively charged and the protons are positively charged. There are cases where there are atoms where you have the same number of protons and electrons and they're balanced. That's most of the time. And there are atoms, especially ones towards the edge of the periodic table, that can gain or lose electrons. And when they do, suddenly the charges are no longer balanced. They'll either have more electrons or more protons. And in that case, they will have the overall charge, the overall atom will have a charge. And those are called ions. We'll talk more about that later. The neutrons, they don't vary within a single atom. But just like there are different kinds of bread, there are different kinds of carbon. And different kinds of bread you might mix. You have different ratios, different amounts of the different ingredients. Well, the different types of carbon would be isotopes. Still going to be carbon because it's got 6 protons. But this one that has 6 protons could be a different isotope from this one that has 6 protons. The first one will have a different number of neutrons than the second atom does. You can't change the number of protons in an atom. You can't change the number of neutrons in an atom, but you can absolutely change the number of electrons whizzing around the outside.